Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Ken. So glad
Cheers.
you're here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Look at my comrades that are here with us.
Oh yeah, I need
I
to
have
take
chai.
a sip.
Thank you for my
Yeah,
chai.
you do have a chai. That's right. I
Yeah.
got you a chai this morning. So here's with me this morning. Here with me this morning is Dr. April Brown, my lovely wife. And, of course, none other than himself than Chris Osmore. Thank
Good morning.
you for joining, Chris.
Thank you for having me.
It is a good day.
It
a good
is.
day indeed.
Such a good day.
I understand that you had a good Thanksgiving.
I had a wonderful Thanksgiving with some amazing people. Oh my word. Let me just tell you, you cannot beat this Thanksgiving. Oh my word, the meal was amazing. So first of all, you're like, who did Chris have Thanksgiving with? I had Thanksgiving with the Browns.
Yay!
Yes.
It's true.
Yes.
He brings the fun, that's for sure.
Well, thank you.
And you got to meet our
I
friend
did.
King, which they're completely different personalities, but that is so fun. It
It
was so
is.
fun.
Our
King
other
is
spiritual
amazing.
son
Yeah.
from Dallas. He's a pilot. So,
Yeah.
hey, King.
Hey, King. It's good to see you. Yes, so thank you for having me at Thanksgiving.
It was great, and I'm still recovering from that. But
Yeah. A couple weeks later.
yes, it's definitely for true. Wanted to spend a few minutes this morning and just talking about something that's been brought up. Is we're entering the new year. One of the things as you look back and you reflect is things that hold you back from success. And one of those big things is looking back and how do we overcome failure? And what is really failure is one of those questions, right? And you see the questions I get very frequently, and that's one of them is how to
Absolutely.
overcome failure. So I want to spend just a few minutes this morning and talk about how to overcome failure in your life. So I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Chris Osmore because he's got some questions I know he wanted to ask me.
Yes, indeed. So as a business leader and as the CEO of Destiny Global, how have you made any mistakes in your past, like throughout your career that you have learned from, and how do you not beat yourself up? How do you, I guess, forgive yourself?
Well, you thought you made a mistake once, but then you thought you were wrong.
Aren't you funny? That is the Ruby way, right? That wasn't a mistake. That was just an opportunity I was waiting to overcome. Chris, indeed, I have made numerous mistakes. But I want to slow down for a second and back up and say failure is
Right.
giving up.
Ah,
Failure
Wow.
is giving up.
right.
And now I have had redirections in my life where I took a job as a senior executive of a company. Got a contract in place with a major hotelier. It was the first company we were going to actually do to Digital Key, which is one of my other companies, Complete IT, that was going to open the doors for the hotel doors. And so after getting there was a disagreement between me and the founder on the direction that he wanted to go. And really, this was a brand new technology. It was definitely hot. It was a multi hundreds of millions of dollar opportunity, and ego got in the way. And so I had to make a decision.
Right.
But see, now I joined this company. So you're asking about
yeah.
mistakes. So I had a blind spot because I was looking so much at the opportunity that I kind of overlooked the personality of the founder. And that became a enormous issue, and one that I had to go back and apologize to my friends in the industry for the way that we were treating them, ego, and then resign from that position and basically go start a new direction. So have I had to make a pretty big pivot in life? Absolutely. The good news is that one left me in a position to start, in another company in a different direction. Really got me into the healthcare side of things in business, and that presented a whole other set of challenge because that was kind of new to me in the the relation we're at. And now there's other things that I'm a part of that are just unbelievable, stuff that's looking to help solve the crisis, part of the crisis with COVID. So there's this multiple opportunities. So the fact is when you find yourself in a situation that you know that you've made a mistake, correct it.
Right.
Now I know that's a lot like the old joke that is his name Bob Newhart?
Yeah.
So Bob Newhart does this he's got like this skit, and it's like just stop it. You can go look it up. You'll laugh because he's basically giving counseling session and says to a person that keeps doing something, his answer is just stop it. So when you make a mistake, realize it and you correct it.
Yeah.
So how you go about correction is the most important thing, and that is being honored to the people and realize this isn't what I thought it was. I'm sorry that I need to go do something. I'm going to have to take this and kind of put this on the back burner.
Right.
This isn't going to work, and then start working towards what the next chapter or goal would be. And obviously, at a senior executive level, it's not as fast to get a job like that. So part of that was involving, before I resigned, was going to my wife and having a frank conversation about, hey, I made a mistake here, and she's like, no duh.
I didn't quite say it that way.
Kind of you did. You saw it, right? So anyway, there's lots of things that we won't get into right now. But the truth of the matter is recognizing that you made a mistake.
Right.
Begin the process of correcting that by
to the best of your ability. And the Bible tells us to live at peace with all man
right.
to the
Yeah.
best of our ability. Like, some people just don't even want to make that peace,
Right.
but you
true.
do your part to make
Right.
peace with it and to correct the mistake as much as possible. But a lot of it is just recognizing it, and recognizing and not letting ego get in the way. It's weighing your ego with your bank account.
right,
And what we've heard many times from our founder,
right,
Danny, and from trainers, that we're continually looking at that we are not getting in the way of ourselves, like in
Right.
our own progress and the progress of the people that are our employees, and that we have been put in charge of them, and making sure that we're being that leader that is continually being the example of looking at a mistake and owning it. And
Right.
it always, the buck stops here. That's what has, that's the saying, is that the buck stops here. It always
Yeah.
stops with the leader, and recognizing that and how you can correct it.
Yes, it's very, very good. So in this situation, I approached April, told her what I had learned, what I'd found, and went about a process then of formally resigning. And at the same time, another opportunity had presented itself that I'd turned down to take this one, so I had to go back and basically step into that one. So it was a 180-degree shift in relatively short order, but the main thing was being honoring in this situation. So you ask a direct question: have I ever made a mistake? Absolutely. Did I correct that mistake to the best of my ability? And I kept my family first to make sure that I was having income.
Right.
At the same time, honoring my clients and letting them know that I was leaving, and apologize to them for the treatment of how the company had treated them. Because when ego gets big, when you're bigger, it'd be like Apple being bigger than anybody else and telling you, my phone, don't tell me something's wrong with it. It's perfect. It's an Apple, right? Well, that's why I remind people, those who had the fortune of knowing Steve Jobs, he would be the first to tell you that's the reason why there's like 15 versions of the phone. It was not made perfect the first time, and it's not perfect now. And it will never be perfect, because there will be something else that we want, right, or need that we foresee that we need in the phone. But it's just like that when you're solving a problem. And there's been other ones where it's much simpler. I made a mistake and realized that I had made a mistake on a spreadsheet, and I went to approach the person, owned the mistake and corrected the mistake, and then let them know this is really where we're at. And even sometimes here, things don't work out. The timing doesn't work out the way that we'd want it.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so
even what you were saying about that, what I remember of the situation was basically to try to say to a client that you should do it my way. Like, I'm going to be bigger than you are. And no client wants to hear that.
Oh no.
Like, that's
that
not
is
good.
not
That's
client-centric,
not
by the way.
client-centric.
That did happen. That
Yeah.
indeed did happen. In fact, the hotel chain was actually Hyatt, and so we had a person tell Hyatt Hotels, who is also one of our key partners here at Destiny Global, by the way. It's where we host a lot of our events. They're wonderful to work with. But to tell them that they should be privileged that we're doing business with them, and our brand is, and of course, our brand was non-existent at the time. They were our first client, so
Like,
you don't.
what have you done? Like,
Yeah,
so yeah.
Jeez, got to be very careful
You
with.
cannot let your ego,
Right.
get in the way of really serving clients. That's horrible customer service, and when you see good customer service, Like, it's especially these days.
Right.
Like, you just want to spread the word about that because it's like
Oh, absolutely.
amazing.
Yeah.
Like, wow, you actually know my name. You actually know
Yeah,
what
that
I'm doing.
reminds me of there's a State Farm commercial. I can't even believe I'm saying this. And there's a State
I
Farm
know, we
commercial. You
laughed
guys got to
about
see
it,
this.
so-
So it's like the person's talking to him, and
Mm-hmm.
and he's telling him, and the person answered the phone, and they actually knew my name. And I call back again, and they still knew who I was. And the woman basically passes out and falls backwards. And the other woman's looking at him and says, "Blink twice if you're in trouble."
Oh,
like,
yes, I've seen that one.
Have you
like
seen
somebody's
that?
holding him hostage just to
someone's
say
like
this.
It's really
But
funny.
it is. But and you know what? And that's the
It's
service.
so true, though.
It is
Like,
true.
Mm-hmm.
It's the service
shocking.
we want to give you here at Destiny Global is
Unfortunately.
making sure we
Yes.
take care of your needs.
It should not be shocking when you get customer service.
It should
but
not.
it is these days.
It
Oh,
can
absolutely.
be.
It is.
Yeah.
It can be. Well, because everything has been so removed. You know,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of places don't have storefronts. There's many things going out,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, just like we had kind of foretold you was going to happen. There's now another variant coming out, and everybody's going to start scooting back into the house and getting locked in if we're not careful with how things approach and the government stances on things. But that causes service to falter.
Yeah.
Human interaction is required to great customer service. There's none better than look at hotel chains, and that's where
Yeah.
I learned a lot of my customer service. And you think about Ritz-Carlton. Why do people pay outrageous amounts of money to go stay at their hotels? If you go stay at one and you get their service, you'll
They
understand.
Treat you like you're
Oh, my
royalty
goodness.
and actually give you what you want.
Oh,
and stuff.
they don't even ask questions. It's just done. So it's quite amazing. But that's also the kind of service we want to give you at this company.
Yes.
So it's what we desire every day, is to serve you and help you meet your needs. Guys, this has been
Yeah.
good. But Chris, you turned it on me. You
Right.
give me a situation where you
Oh, very much. Yeah. So I have made plenty of mistakes, and it was actually here. I've made a couple of mistakes here, and you know, it was in a video. I was editing a video, and I thought it went really well. I thought. So I had worked on this video for like a week, and I was like, "Oh, I'm the bomb. I know exactly what I'm doing."
Oh, ego again.
And ego, literally ego,
Yeah.
like took over at this point. I was like, no edits need to be made. This is perfect. Hollywood, like, get out of the way. Like, yeah. And so, well, it was my third week here, and I was in for not a rude awakening, but a great awakening,
sounds
essentially.
like the Great Awakening. That
Great
sounds-
awakening.
yeah.
So, yeah, and they were like, "This is not." My supervisor was like, "This is not the direction we were wanting to go at all," and I was like, "Okay, so what do I need to do to get back
Pivot.
into the direction that we need to go?" And I corrected the mistake and moved forward and had a good ego check actually, and yeah, weighing that ego with the bank account and ego with everyone around you. Always surround yourself with people better than you. So, and I'm surrounded by people better than me here at this company, and I'm so excited to be able to learn and continue to learn here.
You are very teachable, and you definitely are supportive of how can I do this better, and so I think you've really learned from that.
I
and
have,
you've
I have.
definitely-
Still learning
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, guess what? It's your turn. So, can you give me a time where you have made a mistake and you had to do a course correction?
So, yeah, mine was as a counselor and a supervisor, and just I had not filled out a paperwork correctly, and when you are licensed with the state, you have a whole thing that you have to go through, and I had a whole process to go through to go meet with the board and all of the kinds of stuff because I missed some paperwork, and and I had to own it, even though it's probably a lot more of my counselees,
Your intern.
or my
Yeah.
interns, some of the things that she had not done and listened. But I had to own it because I didn't follow up and I didn't do the things that were necessary. So I completely owned it, learned from it, and learn from that of like what I really wanted to do for the future. Continuing supervision, is this something I want to do? Something that I want to continue with my licensure, and just looking at it all, I really assessed from that like what I was doing, what I wanted to do moving forward. So
Mm.
mistakes can actually be a pivotal
Oh, yeah.
moment for you to really
Yes.
assess
Right.
like what you're doing, what you want to do for the future, and that led me to getting more into coaching and doing the coaching side, and here I am being a coach trainer. So actually those things are opportunities for us to grow and learn, and who knows
Yes.
what's on the other side of it if we really assess it and like what we're doing, and is this what I want to do for the
Wow.
future.
Yes, totally
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing that we have learned, and to avoid making, you're always going to make a mistake of some kind, right? Whether
Right.
it's following a direction in the kitchen with the recipe. Sorry, guys, we
Mm.
just don't do that well. Miss a key ingredient like
Oh, yeah.
eggs in waffles.
Yeah,
Not a
and
good idea.
Sugar, maybe.
Oh, they don't get fluffy. They're just, Anyway, and I know you're laughing at me right now, and that's okay because I laugh at myself with that.
No, it's more like the ended up being tomato soup
Oh,
instead
no.
of enchilada. He wanted to puree the tomatoes.
It is a
and
good idea.
I did it.
I
So I
will say,
turned. I
but-
it became
turned.
tomato soup.
I turned taco. It was kind of like a taco soup
Mhm.
type, and I put a blender in it, a handheld blender, and it basically turned into tomato basil soup. It was still
Oh, my
good.
word.
It was still edible. But yes, I didn't follow instructions that I was given very well because I wanted it to be smoother. So it totally changed everything about the soup. And sometimes that can be a surprise, and that's how a lot
It
of
can actually
inventions were
work out
made, right?
better,
So
yeah.
sticky notes,
Yeah.
for example, were a mistake. It was supposed to be something much more permanent, but it was actually the glue on the back of it, not actually the sticky note. But 3M had made that, and it was supposed to be a very the first version of something you would stick on the wall and be able to hang a picture from, and it would be, you could pull it loose and it wouldn't take the paint off. That was where all that started. So a lot of things started off as one thing and ended up successful as another, and sometimes more successful than the original thought.
Wow.
So it's pretty amazing how that happens. But
It's all perspective, how we look at it, and that we
Right.
first look at it, assess it. Okay, this was a mistake, but what can we learn from it? And sometimes we can learn something really valuable out of it,
Right.
of
Yeah.
a whole new thing and aspect that we never thought
Correct.
of before. So
the greatest inventions ever made all went through a process of trial and error. And error. The thing is not giving up. And
Yeah.
there's victory always at the end of that in one
Yeah.
way or another. And so we encourage you to stay true to your fight, to stay plugged in. We have an event coming up here next month can you believe it's December? It is right
Already.
here, right smack in the middle,
Yeah.
approaching. You just finished Hanukkah, and now we're heading into Christmas, and just want to wish all of you, obviously, before it even gets here, just as you're entering this season, just to remember the real reason for the season.
Yes.
And those around you and those less fortunate, don't forget about the folks at King's Ransom. We have some people in real need, and
Yeah.
in Uganda, in some areas that could really need some help. So please tune into there, kingsransom.org, and plug into that. And man, we sure look forward to seeing you at First Steps. We're excited about
Yes.
that. It's going to be amazing. And you know that, in fact, it's next week. Everyone's going to be here to come in for coach training. So the
training,
coaches
yeah.
coming in, we're looking forward to see you. And those that are joining virtually, it's going to be amazing. Man, we have so much to talk about as we enter into, and we actually start our detailed planning sessions this week to plan out 2022, and we have some amazing things in store. We just want to wish you a wonderful day, and thank you for
Yes.
joining us with
Yes.
coffee for Ken, and stay plugged in. The Life Map is your tool to that.
right.
Don't forget.
Yes.
And we will see you soon. Have a great day.
See ya.
Bye.